Sam, don't be afraid. I will not leave you alone tomorrow. Let your hands talk in the ring. Bye, Sam.
What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt O'Ville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning David Benavidez. Get this. David Benavidez makes his Canelo versus Crawford prediction, and he states that he has a lot of disadvantages, okay? And he goes on to say this, verbatim. He said, to be honest, Crawford is one of the best technical fighters I've ever seen. But when he went to 154, I'm not saying he had problems, but he looked like he didn't have the power he had at 147. And he'd still have to come up 2 weight classes. Crawford is a one-of-a-kind fighter, and especially if he knows he's going to 168, he'll probably bulk up. But weight classes have to be respected. Canelo is the more natural super middleweight. If Crawford is going against Canelo in his first fight at 168, he has a lot of disadvantages against him. Okay, so I feel like Canelo would win. He's bigger and he's more experienced, so I give him the edge. Those are the words of David Benavidez. And let me counterpunch. If anybody should know about the change in power based on movement and weight classes, is David Benavidez. It takes one to know one, David. You knew what it was like to go from 168 to 175. You knew that off the top because you seen that those combinations, that bat, 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 those rat-a-tat-tat shots didn't have the same effect at 175 than they did at 168. You knew that fighting Volsnik, Alexander. Okay, he found that out real fast. That, whoa, these punches are heavier, these guys are bigger, and you know what? And my punches feel lighter. Okay, so looking at, though, Terrence Crawford, saying all that to say this, he's right because I think he speaks from experience. And to be fair, Crawford was just trying to bait Madrimov in, but Madrimov was not falling for the bait. Okay, he was not falling for those traps that Terrence was trying to set up. He just sit back and countered and countered and countered because he knew the minute I come in and I throw my upper body near Terrence Crawford, he may hit me with something and hurt me because we seen it in that fight. We seen it in the last half of that fight. That fight kind of reminded me of the Sean Porter fight without the knockout. That's what it looked like to me, because it looked like Terrence Crawford seeing that, wait a minute, I'm down or it's getting close. Well, wait a minute, let me open up on this kid a bit. And that's what he started to do. And then that's the first time I saw Madrimov, the natural 154-pounder, hold and clinch. Okay, because he wanted to pause the action because he didn't want to get caught with a shot that Terrence Crawford was opening up on his ass with. Okay, so because Terrence started opening up and then Madrimov started clinching. Okay, and then when you seen that, you start to think, oh, okay, wait a minute. Terrence is mad now. So Terrence has gears that Terrence doesn't always show until he has to show it. You know what I mean? He might have been in third and he might have seen, well, you know what? This person's gaining on me. So I need to pop it up to the 4th gear or maybe even the 5th out of an 8th gear switch. Okay. So I think that's what he was doing in that transmission. I think he was moving that 3rd to 4th and then he started opening up. Madrimov started holding. So I don't know necessarily if it was just the power, okay, of or lack of power from Terrence Crawford. I don't think that was the case. I think in David's mindset, well, this is what happened to me at 168 to 175. You know, and then I didn't get a knockout. I didn't even get a knockdown. Normally, I'm taking guys' heads off at 168. That's why I think he pondered on the idea of either should I straddle the fence between 168 and 175 because I think he liked the idea of what those punches did to those guys. You know what I mean? Like, look what he did to Boo Boo Andrade. You know what I'm saying? So, he couldn't do that to Volsnik at 175. So, again, I think he was living in his own experience. But does he have a point? Yes, he has to have a point because weight classes should be respected. See, at 154 to 160 to 168, bro, that's a lot of pounds. And you're talking about is the more natural 168 or Canelo Alverez is the champion at 168. Period. He's been there for years. That dude's been there since what, 2020? When he knocked out Fielding and started busting them up. And look, Canelo looked good, bro. When he moved to 168, it's like that was his weight class. He almost did a reenactment of Vinny Pazienza. Remember, Vinny Pazienza was fighting at 140. Come to find out, his ass didn't even supposed to be there based on his body style. Canelo, same thing. He started busting people up, stopping people, breaking eye sockets and shit like that. Yes, Canelo was bad at 168, but he went to 175. He wasn't that great, was he? Even though he stopped Kovalev's drunk ass, he still was not that guy at 175 because when he entered the Dragon with Bivol, showed him, yo, you can't come here with that foolishness. So he had to go back to 168. So, yes, he is the king at 168. So, yeah, Terrence Crawford does have disadvantages. I think size, and I'm not sure about speed. But if he gets bulky, that may be affected too. But here's the thing. We have someone like Terrence Crawford that walks around at about 185 pounds. Let's just keep it a buck. We've seen him on the scale weighing 180 some odd pounds. That being said, it's not like he can't make the weight. This ain't a Manny Pacquiao where you got to eat 5 meals a day to make that weight. This ain't that. This is, hey, I just got to come down less close to my walking around weight anyway. And I think, honestly, in my perception, in my opinion, I think that most fighters should be fighting at their or 10 pounds up or down, north or south of their walking around weight. And I think that's more natural and safer for each opponent. But you guys tell me what you think of David Benavidez stating that Terrence Crawford has a lot of disadvantages in the Canelo Alvarez fight. If they fight, of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.